And
All
it's
right,
time.
guys, we're back. We're back.
Oh yeah, it's time.
Welcome back,
Guardians
guys,
time.
to the channel, getting you on the grind and improving your mind in every single video or live stream that we do. Before we begin with this review, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and hit the like button as well. Show some support to the channel and the video, and you can donate to the Cash App if you want to support the channel. So, guys, today we're going to be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, starring Simp-Lord. Or, Star-Lord, Star-Lord, right? And we're going to be going in a little bit in depth of the film and talk about what we can learn from it and just a review of the movie itself. Guys, make sure you understand there is full spoilers, guys.
Yeah,
Full spoiler alert.
We're
We are
literally
going to
talk
be
about the
destroying this
entire
whole movie. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about the MCU and a little bit about the demasculation of men as well during this review. So without further ado, let's show you guys what movie we're talking about. Mike, if you want to play the trailer real quick.
Yeah,
For anyone who doesn't follow up on Marvel movies or any of that.
Yeah, let me bring up
And
the
while Mike,
Guardians trailer.
while Mike does that, I'm gonna for like preface. We like to look at movies sometimes in regard to what we can learn from film that is released today and things that you guys can take away as lessons in your own personal lives and kind of go into lessons from a worldview perspective and what's being put out by these studios. And because let's face it, a lot of the movies today are not as good as they once were. So before I continue ranting, let's play the trailer for those who do not really watch Marvel movies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so here is the.
We were gone for quite a while. But no matter what happens next, the galaxy still needs its guardians. Hello, we come in peace. Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude? No! Ow!
Don't forget where we came from.
We have been running our whole lives. Pete, I'm done running. We'll all fly away together. One last time. Into the forever. That beautiful sky. We are.
So we're going to be going.
If the movie was only as good as the trailer.
Yeah, I know. So the trailer makes it look like there's some real stakes, which there kind of are, but there's kind of not. And we're going to get through that a little more as we go through the movie. So let's just start at the beginning. So we're going to go through all these characters and things that are being portrayed here. You get Mike's perspective and my perspective. Mike has a little more optimism for the Marvel movies as a whole. He thinks they're going to get better. I used to be what Mike is now, but my optimism for Marvel movies and movies in general is going lower and lower each year because every time I watch a movie now, I just see. Well, the first thing I notice is that the story is just not as good as many movies that film that used to come before.
Yeah,
I don't know if writers have lost
that.
Their
I do
edge.
agree. That I
don't know what's going on, and I've also noticed that every time I watch a lot of these movies now, all the men, like I'm always, I guess, I'm looking for inspiration. I'm looking for kind of a hero, someone I'd like to take some motivation, inspiration from in movies, that way that I could use in my own life, just like an extra motivation. Like, of course, as we say on this channel, discipline is everything, but I like a little motivation in a movie once in a while. And every man that I could possibly look up to is just treated like an idiot. And so I can't really take much away from that. It doesn't really give me much motivation. So it just doesn't, I like some of the story cues and all that, but a lot of the times it just kind of lets me down. I'm just like, sometimes things are portrayed in movies like we're going to talk about for this one. I'm just like, that would not happen, or like it just takes me out of it just because I am the man that I am and I know reality for what it is. So when I, like, for example, when I was in this movie, there were a lot of moments that had the audience laughing in the theater, and that does include Mike sometimes. Mike laughed a couple times, but I didn't really laugh during this movie at all. Now, maybe it's just me. I might not be the best moviegoer ever. Maybe I do not belong in a live studio audience of a sitcom
Probably not.
because I don't laugh at many things. Because many things I just see through it. I see what the studios are trying to do. I think very analytically and I think very logically about what's going on in movies. So it doesn't really hit me as hard and it doesn't really make me laugh as much because I'm simply just over analyzing everything and I'm just like, oh, okay. And it takes me out of the moment. So movies like this, where it tries to be funny a lot of times, well, usually it's just degrading men, making them look like morons. I can't really laugh because it's more sad than funny. But that's just me. I think there are many people who would disagree with me there, and there are many people who will agree with me there.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Everyone has their own opinion, but I'm gonna give you my perspective, and Mike has his own as well.
Yeah, like I'm gonna say a little bit of before we really get into this. With me, how it is with me is I just when I go into a movie, I just go and watch the movie. I don't really think about. I just sometimes I'll just turn my brain down and dial my brain down just a little bit, just so I can just blindly enjoy the movie as what it is, and then I can analyze it after the fact and be like, "Wow, I laughed at this." And now that I'm thinking about it, that was really stupid. I don't like the situation of it in the context. It was really dumb. And so, but like with me, I'm a big. I love like slapstick comedy. I love like the really stupid type of comedy because I just find that funny in the moment. Like in the moment, like I find that shit hilarious. But when it has to deal with something with like a story, and you're trying to enjoy the experience, and you're trying to think about how this works in the story as a whole, sometimes it's very shallow. Like the jokes are just usually very shallow, so you're just like, well, in context of the story, this kind of sucks, but in the context of it just being a joke, just in a what is it called, in a vacuum, like it's funny. And so that's kind of how a lot of these jokes were to me. In a vacuum, they're hilarious. In the initial movie going experience, pretty funny. Some of them, not all of them, some of them. But then after the fact, I just find most of them pretty like okay, they're whatever. Like they're really not meant to be in a movie that is supposed to be a driven story, especially a culmination story, because this is the third movie. This is the end of their trilogy, and this is like the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy team as we know them. So having some of them in there, it wasn't really. I feel like some of them were really meant, like they shouldn't have been in there in the first place. Some of them were okay. I thought some of them were perfectly fine, especially for the story and stuff. But otherwise, some of them I just was like, whatever. It's just, yeah, I just find them dumb. But we're gonna get into the movie, and we're gonna go through some of the notes that we put down.
Yeah, and I didn't really have too many expectations going into this movie. I was just like, okay, let me see what I can learn. Let me see if we can get some value from this movie.
Well,
am I gonna watch it again? No. Will I have it on the background while maybe having sex with someone, like a girl? Yeah, probably. Maybe. Yeah, sure. I guess. Except for the animal parts, which we're gonna get into.
Yeah.
I would not have that. I would not have Rocket's backstory playing in the background while I'm having sex with a woman.
Sad.
That is just that's
too depressing.
That will ruin the mood completely. Guys, don't have sex while watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It won't work.
Infinity War instead.
It won't work. Yeah, Infinity War. It's got to be doing Infinity War or like Captain America Civil War or something like that.
Yeah. So we'll start with the movie, I guess. We'll get into the beginning. I have a bunch of notes written down.
Yeah, so let's just start with the beginning so this is dude Adam Warlock, right?
Let's go even before Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock's not even here yet.
Okay.
I want to get into something before we even get to Adam, because there are some things that I feel like we need to discuss. So in the beginning of the movie, after the little intro of pretty much understanding a little bit of Rocket's backstory, when we get into present time, they're on Nowhere, and Nowhere is this community now, and the Guardians pretty much work there. It's their HQ. And Quill is pretty much going through alcohol abuse. He's literally drinking himself to death. And
why is he drinking himself to death? You may ask.
Yeah.
Well, it has to do with a girl, of course.
It has to do with
Gamora.
Because Gamora doesn't love him anymore, because Gamora isn't Gamora.
It's not even
Gamora isn't their timeline's Gamora. So of course she does not love Peter, because she's not She's not. She's pretty much pre Guardians 1 Gamora.
Yes, in this movie, Star-Lord is like the ultimate simp. So, but we're gonna go into more detail later. But
Yeah, we'll get
he's
into that.
basically a massive. He's a Simp-Lord in this movie.
The
It's not Star-Lord. He's
Simp-Lord.
Simp-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy. So, in Avengers Infinity War, spoilers again. Thanos just destroys her, just throws her off a cliff, and just kills her.
one.
Yeah, right, just like that. And obviously, that's not
She's
good
dead.
for Star-Lord, right? She's gone. She's dead. Star-Lord just can't handle this. For years, he just can't handle this. So he's constantly like, "More no." It is like constantly. He probably ain't fucking no one else. I shouldn't be cursing because I don't know. I know a lot of kids might be watching this because Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm not gonna curse. I'm not try not to curse in this video. So Star-Lord is not smashing anybody. I'm pretty sure he's not. He's not a G. He's not a savage. He's not smashing any other girls. He's just drinking over Gamora, which can relate to a lot of guys.
When they were with Thor in the beginning of Thor Ragnarok, Thor was smashing everybody. But here, but Peter was just chilling in the bag, like just fighting people just because.
Yeah, Star-Lord is not doing very well, and it kind of relates to a lot of guys in real life because a lot of guys, when they lose the love of their life in real life, it's actually like a lot of girls and people think that when guys lose a girl, they just start having sex with a bunch of girls and like, oh, I'm blaring out. Like that actually doesn't happen for most guys. I'll do that.
Yeah, like
I'd be like that. To be honest, I've done that, but most guys are not like me. They'll be like, no, oh my god, and then they're in a rut. They can't have sex with anyone else. They're hesitant to download Tinder because they ain't drawn. So in real life, it actually is kind of accurate. Unfortunately, a lot of guys have a lot of hard times moving on from a girl, and they usually need time to assess their feelings and get back on the track, get back in the gym. But only a select few guys are gonna be like, you know what, that's all good. Let me get Tinder going. Yo, tonight, that's it. I'm free. Like the genie in Aladdin. Most guys don't even think that way. Most guys they're just sad and they're drinking. Yeah. Then again, let's be honest. Most people will find any excuse to get drunk on a Wednesday night. So let's just cut the crap.
Yeah, and so what? So like, Nebula pretty much picks him up, and like all the Guardians like walk with her and him in her hands to like his bed or whatever. And when she lays him down, he's like, I love you, Gamora, and like touches her, thinking that like, it's Gamora, and Nebula's just like, bro, he needs to fucking get over it, because and Nebula just has like no emotion ever.
Yeah,
well, except for like one part in this movie.
Nebula and Gamora are like the ultimate. It's like literally symbolic of masculine women.
Yeah.
What I guess some people would call it an alpha female, but
they are technically the daughters of Thanos. So like,
I mean,
Thanos
you kind of Well, Thanos was not
it was
really.
pretty much put into them.
Yeah, Thanos is not really the guy who's going to be very. He was very hardcore, and his daughters were kind of masculine. Yeah, and they didn't really like have a mom, I guess. So they were like super masculinated.
Yeah,
I guess I'm making up that word.
Super duper. And I mean, like they were like taught to kill and shit. So I mean, like, once you learn how to do that, and you're a woman, like you're gonna become.
It's like a woman in the military. It's just
Yeah. And so then pretty much after that, now comes Adam Warlock. So now Adam Warlock enters the scene. He flies in.
So before we talk about Adam Warlock and the story, I'm just gonna say this character was kind of wasted.
Yeah,
they could have done so much more, and the arc they have with him just did not really.
The action scenes with Warlock.
Now the action,
great. Like if he just did not speak at all in this movie and just did the action, it would have been awesome. I thought it would have been great. Like he would have been underutilized, 100% underutilized. But if he only did the things that he like did in action wise for the most part, and not speak whatsoever, I feel like he would have done. Like I feel like we wouldn't be complaining as much. We'd probably be complaining about the fact that he wasn't really used much in the movie, and he really wasn't used a lot. Like he was only there for like, I feel like he only had like 10 minutes of screen time, 15 minutes of screen time at most. I didn't really record how long he was on screen for, but I felt like it was only there for like 15 minutes of screen time because there was a part in the movie where Andrew and I looked at each other and we're like, where the fuck is Adam Warlock? Like he's here somewhere, but where is he? He's just not here.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mike like, what is this guy?
Where is he? And what is he doing? Like they try, and like we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. I'm getting a little ahead of myself right now, but I want to bring this up because we were talking about Adam Warlock as a character. I don't like how they wrote in why he's dumb. I don't like how they tried to write in the story why he's stupid.
Yeah, basically
because Aisha, who is from Guardians 2, the Sovereign Lady,
the Golden Girl.
Yeah, she she pretty much was created by the sovereign. Created by the High Evolutionary, which is crazy. But she explains pretty much in exposition that they took Adam out of the cocoon too early, so his brain isn't formed fully, and so his brain is at the age of a child, and so that's why Adam Warlock acts retarded, or well, I'm sorry, acts stupid. He just acts really stupid throughout this movie. He does not think whatsoever, just does things. He's pretty
Yeah,
much
they kind of
acting like
made
a
him into
child,
like just like this immature child. Doesn't
like a
really know what
man
he's
child.
doing. They could have made his character like a total savage. He could have
He
been
could
total
have been
G. He could
Space
have been. He
Jesus.
could have been. Yeah, he could have been like that guy. That guy. You fear him when he's around. It's like, oh my god.
Like Adam Warlock in the comics is literally Space Jesus, but in this movie he is
just
like
They do this to every
baby Space
Yeah, they
Jesus.
pretty much do this to every guy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now. They just make him to a little weasel, a
Little
worm. Like
little weakling.
yeah, exactly.
He's a strong weakling.
You're very So
Weakling in the mind.
and when a guy like me is watching that, it's just like, oh, okay. I mean, I see what they're trying to do, but it's like, I was like, they could have done better. They could have done some more things to make him a little bit stronger in a way, and make him more like badass. So like when he's approaching, or when he's like when you sense him, the tension really goes up, because it's like, oh, he can kill all the Guardians. This dude is
This dude is
strong.
powerful as boy. Like he's super strong. He's super strong.
So much potential, but they don't really do much.
And like he almost kills Rocket, right? Which is like his mission was to take Rocket away. And he almost ends up killing Rocket, and they incapacitate and make Adam Warlock flee the Guardians. So
yeah, because there's a cool fight scene. He comes in, and this is like the beginning
he pretty
of the
much
movie.
he kicks like almost all their asses.
Yeah, and then Nebula, of course, Nebula comes in. She stabs him from behind. He's like, oh, and then he flees. Right, so that's like the beginning of the. It's pretty much like
all in, like,
Star-Lord
the
is
first 5
drunk,
minutes.
and Adam Warlock comes in, kicks butt. That's literally that's the beginning.
Yeah.
So
it was almost a good start. It was almost a really other than like
getting there.
Peter being very depressed and shit. Like it was a pretty good start. But then so they're trying. So now the story is starting to pick up. So now we have a reason to leave nowhere, because they need to figure out how to fix Rocket, because Rocket is pretty much incapacitated. He is pretty much on life support. They don't know. They're trying to figure out how to operate on him, because he's got a kill switch in him, because he was operated on by the High Evolutionary, and it's a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. And so they go and try to break into the company that High Evolutionary uses for like his cybernetics and stuff, which is called Ogo Corp, which is like pretty much organic. It's the whole building that they go into is like organic and shit. But so what they need to do is Nebula tells Peter that they're gonna have a meetup, like she has a contact that is going to help them get into this place to get the stuff that they need for Rocket. And it turns out that it's the Ravengers and Gamora. And
Right.
Gamora is, again, like I said, the 2014 Gamora from Endgame.
Yeah, if you guys didn't watch Endgame.
Guardians of the Galaxy. She was with Thanos, but then she decided to leave Thanos because Thanos was being,
he's
being
Thanos,
very
so.
evil.
Yeah, we have to mention, in this movie, once again, Gamora I think she's actually a little more of a dickhead in this one. She's a little more masculine than usual. I mean, this is also because she's with all these. She's like she's like the girl that's with a bunch of guy friends all the time. Like she's just one of the boys, pretty much. So she's a little bit more masculine, but she's also just a dick to everybody constantly, and very, very disagreeable.
Yeah,
which is, I guess, makes sense for her character and what she's went through. But for me, it's just like, oh boy, just go help the Guardians, please. Go help them out.
Yeah, and
be a team again.
Yeah, she was being a real.
Like, this one was a little more worse than usual. Like she was just like
I think she was even worse. Like how she was acting, I feel like was worse than the beginning of Guardians 1.
Yeah, we're just
like before,
yeah.
like they actually all teamed up and stuff.
And yes, we're talking about the character, not the actual actress. So for
No,
anyone doing that, don't pull that.
What's her face? Zoe. She's
Zoe
great.
Saldana,
yeah, Zoe Saldana. She's great actress, amazing. She's like
fun.
the hot. She's like one of the only actors that is in like 4 of the 5 highest grossing movies. Well, I don't know about right now. I guess so, because she's in Avatar. So yeah, she's in like the most highest grossing movies ever. So I mean, like she's doing great for herself, honestly. But like it's not really on her. It's more of the writing itself.
Yeah.
And I understand why you would want her to be more of a like standoffish because it's kind of like how Gamora was, at least in the beginning of Guardians 1. But I feel like it was way too over the top. And maybe I'm trying to rationalize why right now, and maybe it's because that she's not from the same timeline, so maybe like she's trying to catch up with whatever had happened and stuff, and maybe she's just bitter to everything now, and especially now that she's with the Ravagers, so then the Ravagers are all just crazy people, so maybe she's learning that stuff too. Because when she was with the Guardians, she was still badass. Not gonna play that down, but when she was like with Quill and she was more of like the mom. She was more like the mom of the Guardians, and she was more a little bit more feminine when it came to like helping the guys. She still had that coldness and but it was more balanced and it felt more organic and more a lot better than what it is right now, because it's just pretty much just very standoffish,
Right.
very masculine too, very bad energy.
Yeah, and the way she treats Star-Lord is pretty it's just kind of
It depresses me.
yeah, because every like, especially like the first half of the movie, every time Star-Lord sees Gamora, he's like, we had something once, we were in love, and Gamora's like, yo, shut up, I don't know
Yeah,
you, I
like,
don't
I don't
care about
care.
you, it's over. He's like, but he just keeps, it happens over and over, just like,
Yeah.
stop. There's the one scene when they're on the planet, because they have to get the information to find out how they can heal Rocket, so they're on this planet, and they're sitting in the thing, and Star-Lord is like trying to figure out the button thing. He's like, oh, I just want to say, I love you, I miss you. And she's like, what? I mean, you guys got to remember, this is not even her. This is a different version of her. The other one's dead,
Yeah,
guys. If
she
your
is
girl leaves you, or
unalive.
she dies, I guess. I feel sorry for the widows out there. Very tragic. But if your girl's gone, let's say that, and you gotta force yourself to move on. You cannot find other variants of that girl and think of her as
And
that.
like force them to
That's mental illness.
yes.
Stop that.
Yeah,
She's
just
gone. Gamora's gone. Star Simp. Stop it.
Star Simp. Yeah, and like Star-Lord is just unable to cope with
He's
the
not doing
reality
well
of the
now.
situation. The reality is that Gamora that he knew from Guardians 2 in the beginning of Infinity War is now gone. Like she does not
It's
exist.
over.
Now there's a newer version. There's an older version of Gamora that is now in the reality, but it's not the same Gamora. So him trying to say these things to hopefully trigger something within her to maybe remember or something is just him coping. It's just him trying to like hope and pray that like if whatever he could say could possibly make things the way that they were, but that's just never going to be possible. And he just needs to get over it, honestly, and hope. And throughout the movie, I think he does start to do that, but he's still very upset. A lot. Very upset. Yeah, and Peter's just unable to cope. He just can't cope. But now we're gonna get into the high evolutionary, because we see him throughout a lot of Rocket's backstory scenes. And he, like, his character in itself, like the purpose of him is cool. He pretty much creates beings out of like humanoid animals, and he created Rocket. He created the
Right.
Sovereign, the Animen. He created all these different people, which is cool. And he's like very smart, very articulate. He knows different things. He knows like things from like 5,000 years prior and stuff like that. A lot of people have been saying theories that he might know Kang, which who even knows what's going to happen with that. But he's a cool character, but he's like, again, like there's a lot of these antagonist characters right now. They're very, 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 very emotional. They're very rash, and they do these very emotional things. Now, how the High Evolutionary is as a character, I can at least rationalize that this is perfectly fine for his character, because I feel like him being super smart, I feel like it's the folly of man. I feel it's just he's super smart. He's trying to create other beings, trying to be like a god, and so that's giving him a god complex in a sense, and it makes him emotional. And so I believe that the reason that I'm saying that High Evolutionary being emotional is better than someone like uh the Submariner being emotional, like he was in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I feel like his is better than that because Namor, the Submariner, being emotional just does not make sense for his character. He's more of like a cold douchebag, and he doesn't really get emotional. And so, High Evolutionary, he's very smart, and he's he does all these things, and he's like, I'm the best. I am a god. I do all these things. But when when someone tries to hurt his feelings, he gets all emotional and shit. And so I can at least accept that he's emotional, but I don't like when these Marvel movies be having these masculine characters get super emotional, especially the villains. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, they're I mean, most of the new villains are not really that great, especially none of the new movies capture matches. Everything after Endgame, I usually say, besides like No Way Home, because it was kind of cool, is it's just pretty
Big
much
nostalgia
it's a
trip,
big
honestly.
L, yeah. But
Um, I do want to say as a positive, real quick, because we've been very negative about this movie. I do want to say another positive thing. I love Groot in this movie a
yeah,
lot.
so we could talk about Groot for a little bit. It's not too surprising to me that the most masculine character in this movie is
Is a
is a
tree.
tree.
Is a fucking tree.
It has to be a tree. Can't be a man. Of course not. Of course not a man. No, of course not. No, not in a Marvel movie. No,
no.
not in 2023. Everybody's it's either it's either I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, basically the most masculine character in this whole thing was Groot. He was just doing his thing. He's tough. You don't mess with Groot.
Definitely don't mess with
He's
Groot.
an handyman. He
Oh
helps
man,
out, and
he
he's a
does what he
G the
got.
whole
Yeah,
time. He's a savage, and by the end, he's still fighting hard. He's even bigger in the end.
yeah.
Like
The
he
post
just
credit
gets
scene. Holy crap.
yeah. So Groot's a savage. He's always there to help. He's a good friend. He's a good character. He has more than he says. I love you guys at one point.
Yeah,
So that's cool.
which is crazy. A lot of people say that it's like it's either him like finally understanding other people's languages and he's like actually speaking like actual language, or we as like the Guardians and as an audience are understanding his language. So who knows? But I honestly I love Groot in this movie was great. Like him holding all the guns inside of his bark and shit, and then like pulling out and like shooting everybody,
Yeah.
and then the whole hallway scene, which we're gonna get into towards the end of the movie, that was great. Like Groot in this movie was probably like the biggest highlight of the whole movie, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Groot is, he's Groot. It's just sad that we can't have any masculine male characters other than Groot, like every other man character in this movie. And I'm talking about this because I want more people to start noticing this kind of stuff because it's all part of the plan. A lot of these movie studios are trying to pander, to whatever ideology is being, forced in the agenda. And a lot of male characters are just portrayed as very weak. I mean, this is not even talking crap or trying to make like this is just so evident. It's just right in front of us. Like how can you deny it? Like it's literally all the girls are like strong and tough and everything, and all the guys are just weaklings and they're emotional and or they're drunk or they're just idiots, like complete foolery, like complete fools. Just like Star-Lord, how he just keeps trying to simp for Gamora. She's like, get away from me, stop, I don't know you. And he's like, but please, I just like it's just I want to see some like real. I want to see some Han Solo Episode 4 moments, like just like
Even episode 5,
like just doing
Empire Strikes
some
Back
real
shit.
shit, some real stuff, like guys that being extra strong characters. But a lot of the movie we're just not seeing that.
Yeah,
So
we're seeing Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi type stuff. He's all sad and mopey and emotional.
yeah, there's just not like a lot of male characters that I really like would look up to or anything. So it just gets sad. And so there's I want to see some actual masculine characters, like characters I actually really get invested in. But a lot
Yeah,
of these Marvel movies, they haven't really given any of that. I mean, maybe Shang-Chi, I guess. There's a whole father and son dynamic in that movie. Spider-Man is Spider-Man. I mean, come on, it's Spider-Man, whatever.
yeah.
And then he's Black Widow, Big L.
Big L.
All the TV shows just dumb.
Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. L.
Yeah, L. No, I love you in every universe. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You ain't got no hoes in no universe. Get out of here. Doctor Strange. Come on.
You're
Who
Doctor
wrote,
Strange.
who wrote
Come on.
that?
Come
Who
on,
wrote
bro.
that? But
The and like we're saying this, and we're not trying to say this to like de give the female characters a platform. They can have a platform all they want. We encourage them to have a
Yeah, we're
platform,
not saying
but they
that.
don't need to be they don't need to be at the expense of the guy characters either. And we don't believe that the guy characters should, take more spotlight over the girl characters. I feel like all the characters can all mingle within each
Yeah,
other
Han
in the
Solo,
story.
Princess Leia, great dynamic. It's
Per-
just like that.
And like that's why George Lucas, in my opinion, is like the best story writer, because all of these, like, the female and male characters, they all intertwine with each other. They're like Princess Leia, Queen Amidala. Those two characters, they're like Princess Leia is one of the main characters of the original trilogy, but Queen Amidala isn't really as much in the prequels, but she's very memorable. She's very memorable. There's a lot of lines that you can remember what she says. The things that she does is cool and it makes sense,
You're
and
breaking my heart.
and it works. And she doesn't take away from the other characters, and neither does Princess Leia. The dynamic in Empire Strikes Back with Han and Leia was amazing, and it made a very memorable moment at the end of the movie. And so, you can have characters that are male and female work together and intertwine and intermingle with their stories, and one does not have to pretty much suffer because of the other.
Yeah, so if you know, it's strange that, like, I've noticed none of these characters are having sex. Like, nobody's having sex in these movies. Like, there's no, like, and what I mean by that as well is, like, there's no man female, like, romantic thing going on. Like, even if you look at the new Star Wars trilogy, which I will never watch again, ever. No movie night, date night, we're not watching Rey Skywalker, Rey Palpatine on the screen ever again. I refuse to watch any of those movies. Complete trash. I can't even watch The Mandalorian now. That's how bad it is. I have to have Mike.
Only Lucas saga. Only the
Yeah,
Lucas saga
we
watch.
can't be doing that.
1
So
to
I've
6.
noticed in a lot of these new movies, ain't no man female character having sex. Like, name one. I mean, Spider-Man's not having sex with Mary Jane. At least I don't think so.
Not right now.
Yeah, not ever.
Who knows?
Who else? Star-Lord and Gamora, obviously not. Like, he's just simping. Who else? Drax and we're gonna get to Mantis and Drax later. We'll get there. There's no like romantic situations going on in these movies. Like, can you think of any? Am I missing, guys? If anyone,
the only one that I know, at least, well, there's two technically. There's two. The only ones that I know is
there's
Iron Man and Pepper, which, well, I mean,
Iron Man's dead.
Now, but at least they were.
Yeah, they were.
Then
Tony Stark
know
was...
that they were because Morgan exists. I hope. Don't make me go down that hole. And then there's Steve and
Peggy. But Steve Rogers didn't even lose virginity. He had to go back
time
in travel.
that.
Yeah, he like,
Come
on. And I can't think of any other characters that are having sex.
Wait, did he have sex with with the other Carter, with the what's her face?
Guys, let us know
I
in the
don't
live.
fucking know.
Let us
I
know.
feel like he did, but who knows?
Guys, let us know if Steve Rogers was smashing his neighbor in Winter Soldier. I forgot her name.
Sharon Carter.
Sharon, yeah. Guys,
Sharon
let us know
Carter.
in the comments or in the live stream chat if Steve Rogers was banging his
Sharon
neighbor.
Carter. Man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would vote for that. I would like that. But I can't really think of any characters in a lot of modern movies, like in these like Marvel superhero movies that are having sex. Like, even in like the new Batman, I don't think Batman and Catwoman actually were trying to like, they were just like, you're cute, you're hot, Batman, Catwoman, but it was like nothing.
Yeah,
but it didn't really go into anything. So a lot of these movies,
I feel like they do that. Honestly, I'm trying to rationalize it right now. I feel like the only reason why they don't like do it like that is because that they try to pander to kids. They try to put it off to kids. So I mean, like, they don't want to really, if they're trying to be good people that are trying to give out good stories, I feel like
but they know that a lot of adults watch these movies.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, no, but like I feel like in that sense, they shouldn't be like saying it outright. They should just be hinting to it.
Yeah.
And so it would go over the kids' heads, and the parents would be like, okay, yeah, I get you.
Yeah,
but
in that justification, yeah, it makes sense.
But even then, they're like not even trying to hint too much, other than only a few characters that actually do. So there's that. But hopefully in the new Spider-Man, stuff that they'll eventually come out with, there will be a lot of
Luke Skywalker should have had
dynamics.
kids. Yeah, Luke Skywalker should have had kids, but he was just an incel on another planet alone, and then he died. So big L to Disney. But what else we got?
Yeah, so we'll talk about that hallway scene real quick. So now they're all back together. They all get back together on the High Evolutionary ship, and they're pretty much They're pretty much trying to go kill the High Evolutionary, and they're killing all the people. And the action scene for this is awesome. They're all like working together, and they're killing the people. It was shot like beautifully, doing all these crazy moves. If you get the chance, definitely just watch the movie just for that. Honestly, that shit was awesome. Doing like the Guardians working together and doing their thing was great. And I want to talk about this because it happens a little bit before this, but now we're getting to the other version, and I don't like, because you got to remember, guys, this movie is the culmination of the first three movies plus the both Avengers movies, right? And so this is the culmination of their story as a team. And so in the beginning of the movie, like Rocket is like pretty much almost gonna die, right? And so there's a part where they finally get the thing that they need to help to go and fix Rocket. And as they're trying to fix him, he dies. And like during the entire time that you have the background scenes, like Rocket's backstory scenes, like that's pretty much him like going through his life again.
Yeah, so it is kind of sad, right?
Yeah, and so like it gets very sad, which I don't mind. I don't mind him getting sad because I kind of like that stuff.
I really hate animal cruelty. That's why, like in
Yeah.
our videos, we always say we support buying animal food and products from places that treat their animals well. So we've always said that. So
Yeah.
we are 100% pro animal. Just we still got to eat them. Don't you get
Yeah.
it twisted. We got to eat them, but we want the animals to have good lives before they get slaughtered.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
before they get peacefully let down. Is that what we're saying?
Peacefully.
Yes.
Anyway, and so like they pretty much Rocket is dead, and in like his his subconscious before he's dying, like he sees Lila, which is one of the animals that
Yeah,
he
so
was
he had like a
with.
bunch of friends when he was a kid, and then they all like try to make friends, and then
They all die.
Yeah, and
Because of the
they
High
all get shot.
Evolutionary.
Yeah, High Evolutionary's dickhead. He
Yeah,
hates animals.
And so like he sees Lila again, and like he talks to her, and she's pretty much telling him to come with him. So like that's why he like dies, and then she's like, no, you have to go back. And so like he pretty much gets put back into his body. He's pretty much revived, so he's good. So they swerve you on the death of Rocket, and it's even kind of shown because the trailer, which we kind of seen, and also the thumbnail, you see Peter like going crazy, crying, screaming shit.
Yeah.
And so you think that someone's gonna die, and you
You
notice
thought that, didn't you?
yeah, and they do a good job with that, and they swerve it, which
No stakes.
I was okay with that because I wanted him to bookend the thing with the High Evolutionary. Because they haven't even, because at that part they didn't even get to the High Evolutionary, and we would not even have gotten that hallway scene. So I was okay with it because of that part. What I was not okay with was at the end, like they're saving everybody pretty much Evan Almighty style. They're pretty much saving all like the animals and the people that the High Evolutionary worked on his ship. They brought them onto Nowhere because Nowhere can now move, which is pretty cool. They got them all on there, and pretty much Quill was the last one like to get off of the ship, and the ship was pretty much being detached from Nowhere. And so he tried doing cool moves to get himself back on, but now he's in the vacuum of space, and he pretty much gets frozen and is pretty much gonna die because he's out in the vacuum of space, and he's freezing up, and he's bloating up and shit. And so you're like, oh, so this is going to be the end for Quill. So Quill's going to be gone. But no, here comes Adam Warlock, because we haven't seen him in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, he
of the
comes
whole
in, he
movie.
disappears, comes in, disappears. It's like, make up your mind.
And they do the freaking the Adam that Adam painting with God and Adam where they touch fingers and shit. They do that as a joke, and then he grabs Quill and brings him back and revives him. And
Yeah, so like
Quill,
I even like when we were in the theater, I was like, "Yo, Mike, I bet Warlock's gonna come save," and he did. I was right. Like I was sad that I predicted the movie. It's like, of course, someone's gonna come rescue him. They should have killed Star-Lord, Simp-Lord, whatever. They should have killed him like while he was in space. That would have been like, okay, there are stakes.
Epic,
whoa,
yeah.
it
That
would have been
epic, yeah.
But no, they ain't got the balls to do it. Even though it's gonna be the last movie anyway. I'm just trying to milk these characters for money. They should. I think someone should have died in this movie. Absolutely, Rocket or Peter Quill. or
Even Drax.
don't not everybody but Groot, because Groot already died. So stop doing that. Yeah,
Groot,
they're just
Groot
dumb.
actually died.
Yeah.
And this is not the same Groot.
So
as
they should have
that
at
Groot.
least killed one of the Guardians, or maybe two. Like Mantis could have been killed. Nebula could have been killed. I mean, they could have made sacrifices. Drax, I guess, kind of he's a clown anyway. So and
Yeah,
Dave Bautista's not even gonna really
we'll
come
get to
back.
Drax again. We'll
Yeah.
get to Drax a little bit later. They should have killed Drax because the whole thing with Dave Bautista, but they didn't, which is whatever. Probably because they're just hoping that he'll eventually come back.
Yeah, well,
maybe.
and they're just pussies.
If they
so.
just give him enough money, maybe he'll come back.
Money.
But yeah, I didn't like that. Pretty much, we were double swerved on deaths. That would have been cool to see. Like, I was ready for Rocket to die, but then they were like, "Nah, it's fine."
I was ready
And
for Star-Lord, Rocket.
I was kind of like, "Oh, that kind of sucks." But then I saw the hallway scene and him fighting with the High Evolutionary, and I was like, "All right, this is cool. I would rather that. I would rather that." But then with Quill, when he was pretty much gonna die, I was like, "All right." I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. And then nope, they brought him back. I was like, okay,
And
well,
Adam Warlock, of course, you guys already know, like
Kinda
Adam
sucks.
Warlock is going to turn the tide. He's going to turn good. I think he could have had a better arc though, because the way he turned from bad to good, I feel like there should have been more exploration in his character and everything.
Yeah.
At one point, like he basically sees his mom die and it's like, okay, whatever. He forgets about him. So what the fuck? Like, what is going on with this character? Why do they not care about it? You know, because he's a male character. I'm telling you, they just want to make these guys just weak, and it's just
like they just didn't care about his character arc in any way.
Yeah,
like,
a lot of
didn't really
people
give him enough time, like enough
Yeah.
screen time to really
so much
progress
potential
through that, which
wasted.
kind of it's very unfortunate, honestly. Yeah, I didn't really like that whole thing with them swerving the deaths. But now let's talk about pretty much now the movie's over, or it's pretty much the end of the movie. We get to the part where they're all talking and the Guardians are going to split up.
Yeah, so none of them die. They just all decide to go do their own thing, which I guess is okay, whatever. But
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
Quill's going to Missouri to go find his grandfather. The Gamora is going back to the Ravagers because she wasn't really part of the Guardians anyway. This new
Yeah.
this new
because the
Gamora.
whole movie, the Star is just simping to her. She's like, "No, get away!" And then she fights with them. She's like, "Okay, yeah, whatever, I'll help them." And then at the end, Star-Lord's like, he's kind of chill with it. He's like, you can go if you want. I kind of get it. And he was like, we still had something special. He's still going on by the end. He's like, we did have something special. And then at the end, Gamora was like, yeah, I bet we did. But it's just like,
I bet the other me was good. We got Derpy Entertainment says Chris Pratt booster gold. Maybe. I don't know.
maybe.
I'm just I love Chris Pratt, but the writing for his characters, there's just
it's not Chris Pratt's fault. It's just
it's really not Chris Pratt.
It's what James Gunn decided to do. And I don't know who's whispering in Gunn's ear during this production. I don't know. Who
Probably
knows?
DC.
Yeah, like we need you to make these. Yeah, get out of there. You know,
get yourself out of there quick.
what
and-
were you just saying about
What was I saying? These, I don't know. What was I saying? Let's talk about the splitting of the characters because Quill goes to Missouri. Rocket, what was it? Rocket and Groot were gonna stay with and technically Nebula, I guess. We're gonna stay with the Guardians, right? We're gonna create a new Guardians
Yeah,
team.
so basically Simp-Lord is like, all right, I'm gonna leave, but we need a new leader. And then he's like, Rocket, you're gonna be the leader. So they make a raccoon the leader of the new Guardians of the Galaxy. So of course, anything but a man.
But honestly,
Anything but a man.
I'm going to rebuttal though is that in the comics, Rocket is a leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and one of the things. So I will give them that is that okay, they're going to go into that form, go into that Guardians thing. I do get what you're saying, and I completely understand. Oh, we have another comment. You can't deny though, both you fellas definitely said at one point repeatedly no animals were harmed in the making of the film. Did I say that?
I hope no animals were harmed in making the film.
I
mean, in
remember
the
saying
movie,
that,
I mean,
but-
probably CGI, right? A lot of these.
Oh, no, they actually they use a lot of computer what is that CGI shit
I was
in
gonna
the
say,
beginning of the movie for the baby rocket. When he was like
Yeah.
really little.
I was
baby
gonna
in
say,
the
I think
beginning.
I thought most
did
animals
a
were
lot of good
CGI
work
in
on
these
that.
films anyway.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them.
I don't, because a lot of these companies, I think they're gonna get lazier as future goes on. They're not even gonna put real animals in a lot of these movies and stuff in the future because CGI is looking more and more like they're getting better with the technology. So I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh no, we
um,
were talking about animals as in.
Oh, like dieting, like eat, like health and nutrition.
Yeah, we're talking
wise,
about health and
because-
nutrition wise.
Because we always, like in a lot of our videos, we talk about how we do endorse people eating animal products, but endorse getting your animal food sources from companies that actually
Yeah,
like
do animal welfare
yeah,
stuff.
like pasture raised eggs, which is like chickens that are like fed actual food and they're allowed to roam and like they're not treated like shit. So we support that, and cows that are like actually
Grass
able to
fed,
eat.
grass
Yeah,
finished.
exactly. So we support.
Yeah, that's what we support. So, anyway, we're getting off topic here. And so Nebula and Drax are staying on Nowhere to pretty much run and pretty much like they Nebula tells Drax that he's not a destroyer, he's a dad. So he's just
I think he's both, right? I mean,
well, he's supposed to be Drax the Destroyer, but the whole entire trilogy has got pretty much made him go away from the Destroyer's version of him and is making him pretty much like a house dad.
because basically Groot gets the title of like Savage. Like Groot is he's
Groot,
the like
yeah.
don't mess with
Groot
me.
is the G.
And then they made Drax more of like the funny guy, like ho 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 ho, like he's just that guy, just that moron. I mean, then again, every guy character in these movies is pretty much a joke anyway.
Yeah.
But like I think Drax, like they sort of, he's like, all right, I'm gonna go help the new civilization now, and then what happens next? Right?
Yeah, like, well, because the thing was that Mantis wanted to leave, and she said that she was gonna go do her own thing, and then Drax is like, "No, let me go with you." And she's
you
like,
need someone to protect you, someone to stay with you. And then Mantis, of course, strong, independent woman, right? That James Gunn wrote in there.
yeah, she's like, "I don't need you to protect
I don't need it.
me."
Yeah, I was like, but yes, you do. Stop it.
And
Stop it.
he's like, "Well, I need to help you with your weakness of being weak." And I'm like,
I was
"Bruh."
like, who
I
wrote that?
bro?
I was like, come on,
I understand that
you
you're trying
are
to make
weak, and I
Drax-
must protect you. Like, wait, no one's saying stuff like that.
I was like, bro, I understand that like you made Drax dumb, so of course a dumb person would say something stupid like that, but like it wasn't necessary because it just kind of like again, like what Andrew was saying before, like we see through it. So
it's like, I know what you're
it's-
doing, bro.
you're pretty
I
much
know what
just
they're
trying
writing.
you're pretty much just trying to say that like men are, men must protect women. We
And
are
then women are like, no, I
masculine.
don't need you to protect me. It's like, oh, listen, you're gonna need help getting that TV on the mount in the wall mount in the living room. So don't you say you don't need no man when you need help. Yeah,
the sink is leaking. I don't know who
ain't
you're
no
gonna
woman
call.
moving into an apartment by herself without help from a man. It's just not happening. It's not happening. You need help to get the TV stand. Don't even start with that.
Don't even.
Hey, you need help getting your bed in the bedroom. Get the hell out of
Yeah,
here.
and so Nebula and Drax pretty much stay on Nowhere, and Nebula has Drax pretty much watching over the kids because she calls him Drax the dad, which whatever. He was already kind of a ruined character anyway. They wrote him terrible.
Yeah, because they just make him like it's too jokey. It's too moronic. Like there's a couple, like the first Guardians was a little more balanced because it was like he was a badass, but he was also like, okay, he's a little funny. He had some moments, but every other movie since, except for Infinity War, he was kind of Infinity War was all right.
Like he was funny. I think his peak hilarity was in Guardians. The most memorable shit was in was in Infinity War. His most memorable like comedy was in Infinity War, but he was also pretty badass, except for the part where like, because like I wish, like as much as I love Infinity War and I praise that movie so much, if he had at least a one-on-one actual fight with Thanos, it would have made me so happy because that's pretty much what he wanted. And like at least they gave him the opportunity to try to fight him, but Thanos already had the Reality Stone,
He's like,
and
no.
pretty much just turned him into blocks. So it kind of just made Drax look like like a piece of shit. But like,
he tried though.
He did give it the effort, which I'm okay with. But I just wish that they could have done more on that. And like ever since Guardians 1, he's just become progressively less like able to really do anything other than be the funny guy. He
could do more.
Like at the beginning of Guardians 2, like he went inside the basilisk thing or whatever it's called, and like started knifing it from the inside, which is awesome. That's cool. Like that's funny. Like it's fun. It's not only is it funny, but it's awesome because he's literally trying to kill the thing from the inside because it won't digest him because it only eats like energy. So it doesn't eat. It's not going to digest him. It's not going to eat him. So he's like trying to kill it from the inside, which I thought was awesome. But at the same time, like the rest of the movie, he's like harbulary batteries and saying some weird stuff, talking about dancing and whatever. And then it continues into this movie.
He just goes a little too far. Like he needed more cool moments.
Yeah,
but
and I don't blame Dave Bautista because, like, I mean, Dave Bautista, he doesn't even want to do this anymore. He didn't want to be Drax anymore after the whole thing that happened with James Gunn, right around the time of Infinity War. But they just like it's not even his fault. It's just the writing of his character, and I don't blame Dave for anything. But yeah, like they pretty much split up, and so now there's a new team of Guardians, and all the other people go their separate ways. We don't really know what happens to Mantis. We don't know where she actually goes. We don't we don't see Drax or Nebula at the end after that point in the movie anyway. They're pretty much just on Nowhere, and who knows if we're actually going to go back to Nowhere in the future, because I don't know what they're going to do with that, if they're going to ever show Drax again, because Dave said he probably won't come back as Drax.
Yeah.
So who knows? They should have. That's why he said she should just kill them off. But now they have a new team of Guardians, which is Groot, Rocket, Adam Warlock, because he's just there, and Kraglin.
I will say there was a cool scene. Actually, I will point out real quick. So throughout the movie, Kraglin is trying to learn how to use the arrow that Yondu basically gave it to him because he died in Volume 2. And so with the whole movie, Kraglin's trying to understand how to work the arrow, and he's having trouble. But so like the end, the big battle, the big fight, and everything, he's trying to get it to go, and then he envisions Yondu like looking over, like, it's in the mind, boy, get it. And you see
It's
like
in your heart,
yeah,
boy.
exactly. So, and then he ends up using the arrow and killing all the guys. So that was a great moment. That was actually a masculine moment. So I
Yeah.
do like that. That was a good moment. So, but that was it. Yeah. So that was the highlight, I will say.
Yeah, and this little girl, which is I think they're gonna put her as Quasar, which is I don't remember her name, but it's part of like the Marvel type thing. So she's kind of got like this Kree-esque type of power, like kind of like people like Captain Marvel and stuff.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes.
So it'd be cool. I feel like I feel like it's gonna be a future thing eventually with Love from Thor: Love and Thunder. I feel like they're
Mhm.
gonna eventually like have them meet and stuff and fight together.
Yeah.
But the whole movie in itself it had some highs, but it had a lot of lows and just a lot of whatevers.
Yeah. It was probably like maybe a 4 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I give it like
Maybe
I
3.
I probably give it a 5, probably a 5 to 5.5 out of 10. Honestly, it like I'm probably gonna watch it probably one or two more times ever, and probably never again after that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not really it's not very rewatchable to me, I don't think. I mean, maybe
A
like
lot
maybe
of
I'll watch
people-
Adam Warlock scenes again just to kind
Yeah.
of but if I ever watch this movie and I'm gonna be skipping around, I'm not gonna watch the
Yeah.
whole thing. That's the sad part. Like Infinity War, Endgame, Iron Man,
Captain America.
all three
all the-
Captain America
yeah.
movies, the first Guardians, like those are movies I don't really need to skip around. I watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
But a lot of these movies, like
I
you're,
watched
I'm-
I watched Guardians Volume 2 in the theaters, like I think like 5 times.
yeah, that was the testament.
I kind of really liked that movie when it came out.
Yeah, so the movie wasn't really. We're not really gonna watch it too many times, but we just we want to do a little review here and see what we can get out of it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Any other
Yeah.
thoughts?
Honestly, with guys with Marvel movies and just with movies in general, there's going to be something in there that's trying to tell your brain that what you believe about this thing is actually this. And we've talked about it a lot already in this live stream. And so guys, when you watch movies, like, movies are supposed to be subjective because it's art, but really let yourself enjoy it in the moment, but really understand where they're going when you either rewatch it or when you look back at at the movie that you had just seen, and just understand what they were trying to do, understand what they were trying to tell you and show you, and know the hidden meanings of it all, because art really tries to prove and push a message. Not everything, but most art does this. And so you just need to understand and be wary of those messages that they're trying to send, just so you know what to do, because people don't watch the news really as much nowadays, so they're trying to put all these things out through pop culture and through art. So you just got to keep aware of that.
Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Let us know your thoughts on this movie in the comment section below. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? What kind of mixed feelings you guys have on it, or let us know if you really liked it or not. Just let's get some feedback in the comment section, and smash the like button. And make sure, definitely don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can donate to the Cash App, link description below if you want to support the channel. And with that said, we're going to see you guys in the next video.